When was the last time you brushed your teeth for 5 hours straight? Never. Nobody does that. Nobody says, well, I haven't brushed my teeth all week, so tonight I'll just make up for it and stand here in the bathroom for 5 hours. It sounds ridiculous because you already know it doesn't work that way. You brush them every morning, every night, just a couple of minutes each time. And somehow, those little minutes are enough to keep them healthy for years. So why do so many people treat English differently? How many times have you told yourself, I'll catch up this weekend? How many times have you sat down with every grammar book you own, opened 10 different YouTube videos, and decided, I'm going to study for hours today? And then halfway through, your brain shuts down. You're exhausted, and the next day, nothing. Not for a few days, sometimes not for a few weeks. Be honest. Have you ever done this? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Trying to learn English in a single massive study session is like trying to run a marathon after sitting on the couch for a year. You might survive the run. You might even feel proud for a moment. But your muscles will ache. Your body will rebel. And you won't want to run again for a very, very long time. English isn't built in marathons. It's built in the quiet, daily walks you take, even when you don't feel like it. And here's the question that should stick in your mind. What if you could change your English with just 15 minutes a day? Not 15 minutes of torture. Not 15 minutes where you stare at a textbook until your eyes blur. 15 minutes you actually enjoy. 15 minutes you could slip into your day without stress. Imagine this. A few months from now, someone asks you a question in English, and you don't freeze. You don't need to dig for every single word. The sentence just comes out. Smooth, clear, natural. It sounds like magic? It's not. It's habit. Think back to anything you've ever gotten good at. Riding a bike, cooking your favorite dish, playing a song. Did you master it in one try? Of course not. Did you practice for hours once and then never touch it again? No way. You learned because you kept showing up, even when it was messy, even when you failed, even when you didn't feel like it. Every time you came back, you were a little better, a little faster, a little more natural. English works exactly the same way. It's not about waiting for that magical big study day when you have endless time and energy. It's about stacking tiny victories, one drop in the glass each day. At first, it doesn't look like much, but keep going, and one day the glass overflows. That's fluency. That's confidence, and it's built in minutes, not marathons. But here's the trap. Most learners believe, if I don't have an hour, it's not worth starting. They think, if I can't do 10 pages, I might as well skip today. They tell themselves, I'll wait until I have more time. The weekend comes. They're tired. They've got other plans. The big study gets pushed to next week. Next week becomes next month. And in that time, the little progress they made quietly slips away. That's why so many stay stuck for years, not because they aren't smart, not because they don't try, but because their system guarantees inconsistency. The solution isn't more hours, it's more days, more short, repeatable moments. And here's the best part. You don't need a perfect plan, you don't need expensive courses, and you don't even need more than 15 minutes. You just need to make those 15 minutes count, and that's exactly what we're about to do. Let's slow it down for a moment. Why does 15 minutes a day work so well? Why can something so small beat hours of cramming? Because your brain isn't a storage room where you throw in information once and expect it to stay. It's more like a garden. Whatever you plant needs attention, a little water, a little sunlight, and most importantly, it needs consistency. Think about it. There's a song you haven't heard in years, and yet the moment it plays, you're singing along without missing a word. Why? Because it's been there, tucked away, and all it took was a little reminder to bring it back. Now, compare that to a random phone number someone tells you once. 10 seconds later, it's gone. Completely gone. English is that song. The more often you hear it, speak it, and see it, the deeper it's stored. Leave it too long, and it slips away. Daily practice is like hitting the replay button over and over until you're not thinking about every note. You're just singing. When you've had hundreds of little English moments, a quick chat with a friend, a sentence repeated out loud, a note you wrote for yourself, you stop fearing the language. You stop asking, what if I get it wrong? And start thinking, let's just say it. It's never one giant leap. It's 1,000 tiny steps stacked on top of each other. Picture a seed. The first day you water it, nothing happens. The second day, still nothing. You keep watering, and one day, there it is. A green sprout pushing through the soil. Small, fragile, but real. Your progress in English is like that. Quiet at first, almost invisible. But it's alive. And once it's there, it grows faster than you think. Then comes momentum. Day 1 is easy. Day 2 feels fine. Day 3, maybe you want to skip, but you push through. By the end of the week, you've got a streak going. 7 days in a row. And something in you says, I can't stop now. Every day adds another drop to the glass. And the fuller it gets, the more you want to keep going. This is why short daily practice works. Not just because it trains your brain, but because it builds a chain you don't want to break. Once you've got that momentum, stopping feels wrong. And yes, in the beginning, it's messy. You start a sentence, then stop. You translate in your head. You juggle words like puzzle pieces that don't quite fit. It feels slow, frustrating, awkward. But here's what happens when you show up every single day. The pauses shrink. The hesitation fades. The words start lining up before you even call for them. One day, you catch yourself speaking without translating. It just happens. That's automatic recall. The same way your fingers type your password without you thinking, or you drive home without replaying every turn in your head. And this is where confidence sneaks in. Not because you've memorized every rule, not because you've reached some mythical perfect level, but because you've spoken so often that mistakes stop feeling dangerous. So, you've got 15 minutes. That's it. No more. What can you possibly do in that time that will actually move the needle for your English? A lot, if you do it the right way. I call it the 5 paths. 5 simple options. You can choose just one each day, or mix them, depending on your mood. Path 1. Listening. Pick something short. A mini podcast, a short audio story, even a quick news clip. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be for advanced learners. And here's the key. Don't force yourself to understand every single word. That's not the mission. The mission is to get your ears used to English. The sound, the rhythm, the way words connect and blur. You can do it while cooking, while cleaning, while walking to work. It's not about squeezing in a study session. It's about slipping English into moments that already exist in your day. Maybe you catch one word. Maybe you catch 10. It doesn't matter. The win is in showing up. Path 2. Shadowing. This isn't a race. You're not trying to memorize a list of vocabulary. You're learning how English looks, how sentences are built, how ideas flow. Some days you'll meet a new word that sticks immediately. Other days, it'll take a few tries. Both are fine. Path 4. Writing 3 sentences, 5 sentences. That's it. About your day, about tomorrow, about something you noticed on the street. The goal is to teach your brain how to form ideas in English without hesitation. It could be as simple as, "Today I went to the park. I met a friend. We had coffee." Done. That's your 15 minutes. The magic is in the repetition. You're not writing a novel. You're building a habit of putting thoughts into English every single day. Path 5. Talking to yourself. Yes, out loud. And yes, it feels weird, but it works. Describe what you're doing as you do it. I'm making breakfast. I'm putting on my shoes. I'm locking the door. It's not about having deep, intellectual conversations with yourself. It's about rewiring your brain so English stops being a foreign guest and starts feeling like it lives here. 5 paths, one choice a day, 15 minutes. That's all it takes to keep English alive in your mind, to keep your skills from gathering dust, and to push yourself one small step closer to fluency without burning out. Shadowing is like having an invisible partner. You hear a sentence, and you repeat it instantly, matching the speed, the tone, even the pauses. It's not listen, then repeat. It's listen and repeat at the same time, like an echo that's alive. For example, you hear, "I'm heading to the store." You say it right with them. "I'm heading to the store." It feels awkward at first. Your mouth stumbles. But that's the point. You're training it. You're teaching your tongue, your lips, your voice to move like a native speaker's. Do this with short sentences, simple ones. Repeat them until they feel easy, until your mouth says them without your brain dragging its feet. Path 3. Reading. Choose something you can finish in one sitting. A short news article, a mini story, a blog post. Read it slowly. Let your eyes take in the shapes of the words. Guess meanings from the context before reaching for a dictionary. Day 1 feels small. You listen to a short podcast, or maybe you write a few sentences. You learn one new phrase. "How's it going?" And you realize it means, "How are you?" It's just a drop in the bucket. But it's a drop you didn't have yesterday. There's a tiny spark of satisfaction. You did something. You showed up. 7 days later, the glass isn't full, but it's no longer empty. You've spent a week listening, speaking, reading, or writing. Not hours at a time, just 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there. And somehow English feels lighter. You notice a sentence in a movie and you don't translate it word for word. You just understand it. You hear a phrase you've never studied before, and somehow you guess its meaning from the situation. Sometimes you're wrong. That's fine. The important thing is, you're guessing. You're engaging. You're no longer stuck in that slow, heavy translation mode. By day 30, something shifts. At the beginning, every English conversation feels like a test. Your heart beats faster. You're thinking, "Don't mess this up. Don't get stuck." But after a month of daily exposure, the pressure isn't as loud. You've practiced enough little moments that one more moment doesn't scare you. You've built a kind of quiet courage, the kind that doesn't make a big announcement, but shows up right when you need it. This is the snowball effect. At first, it's small. You're rolling it slowly, not seeing much difference. But as it grows, it rolls faster, picks up more snow, and soon it's too big to stop. Daily practice works the same way. One small push every day turns into unstoppable momentum. English stops feeling like a stranger you have to prepare for. It starts feeling like someone you've seen around enough times to nod at in the hallway. You know more words. You speak a little faster. You're not reaching for the dictionary every 5 minutes. And here's the best part. When you make a mistake, you don't freeze. You don't feel embarrassed. You just keep talking, because now your brain is focused on the conversation, not on perfection. It's like learning to ride a bike. The first day, you're wobbly. By the first week, you can go a few meters without falling. By the first month, you're riding around the block. turning corners without thinking. The difference? You didn't spend one exhausting day on the bike and then put it in the garage for a month. You touched it every day, and every day it got easier. And there's another change you might not notice at first. Your fear starts to shrink. Here's the real challenge. Not starting. Starting is easy. Keeping it going. That's where most people fall off. So how do you make sure your 15-minute habit doesn't fade after the first burst of motivation? First, track it. Get a calendar, a piece of paper, a simple notebook. Every day you practice, even if it's just 10 minutes, mark it down. A big tick, a circle, a bright-colored sticker. It sounds silly, but watching those marks stack up does something powerful to your brain. You see the streak. You don't want to break it. One day becomes 3. 3 becomes 7. 7 become 30. You start thinking, I've come this far. I'm not stopping now. Second, set a timer. Some days, life will get in the way. Work runs late. You're tired. You tell yourself, I have no time. But you do have 10 minutes. Pull out your phone, set the timer, and tell yourself, that's it, just 10 minutes today. Fifth, keep your tools ready. Have a podcast saved on your phone, a short article open in your browser, a notebook and pen on your desk. If you have to waste time looking for something to practice with, you'll give yourself a chance to back out. Make it so easy to start that you can go from I should practice to I'm practicing in less than 30 seconds. That's how you make daily practice stick. You remove the friction, you shrink the goal, you make it visible, and you make it fun. Do that, and those 15 minutes a day will turn into weeks, then months, then years, without you even realizing it. 10 minutes is short enough that you can't make excuses, and long enough to keep the chain unbroken. And here's the secret. Most days, once you start, you won't stop at 10. You'll go longer. But the pressure is gone because you already told yourself the goal was tiny. Third, pick the same time. Morning coffee, lunch break, before bed, on the train. When you do it at the same time every day, it stops being practice and starts being part of your day, like brushing your teeth or locking the door before you leave. It becomes automatic. You don't have to decide. You just do it. Fourth, make it enjoyable. This is where most learners fail. They choose materials they hate and then wonder why they quit. If you love cooking, read recipes in English. If you love travel, watch a 2-minute travel vlog. If you love music, sing along to one verse of a song. Fun is fuel. The more you enjoy it, the less it feels like a chore, and the easier it is to keep coming back.